Welcome to the Business Growth Podcast. Today I'm here with David, a co-founder from Utopia. Welcome to the show, David.
Hi, and thanks for having me.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to having a chat. So tell us a little bit more. What do you guys do at Utopia?
I guess we're a small accountancy practice. We don't like to use the word accountants because we see ourselves as more like a fractional finance department.
Mhm.
So we basically come in, take over the full finance department, or the equivalent of the full finance department that corporates would have in small business. So we're looking at making sure that all of the numbers are up to date, all of the reporting is done on time, and giving small business owners the information they need to thrive.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. And then what would you say is like the typical business that you do this for?
I'd say it's or kind of the starting point is a small business, one or two members of staff, looking at about a couple of 100,000 turnover and wanting to get up to a couple of million. And we can really kind of help them with all that information and give them as much information as possible to make the right decisions and to keep growing their business.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And then what made you decide to initially like start this business and like co-found it?
So if I go back kind of both our journeys, so me and Catherine, my business partner, we both worked in industry, so for the company, and said that we would never work for accountants. Both said we'd hate it and we would never do it. Anyway, both ended up working for the same accountancy practice and believe it or not, didn't really enjoy it that much, got quite frustrated with how things were going. It turned out that or this practice, for example, is similar to most, and it's giving you your tax return at the end of the year, giving you your accounts at the end of the year, and we didn't like the way that works. We like to give people the information as early as possible to make decisions on, rather than just giving them what their tax figures are.
Mhm.
And seeing the stress of business owners that are being told you've got to pay 20, 30, 40 grand and it's got to be done by tomorrow is awful. So that's why we kind of wanted to do it with bringing everything in, making sure you've got it on 9 months early. So, we're telling people most of the time what their corporation tax figure is expected to be on day one, not 9 months later.
Mhm. Right. So being basically more like proactive rather than reactive.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we want to be proactive.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's always good. And then when we spoke last time, you said you guys have been growing like about 25% year on year, and now your goal is to scale that to 35%. So talk us a little bit through what's the game plan on how are you going to increase that to 35% per year?
Yeah, so I mean we try all sorts every year. We've done marketing, we've done cold emails, we do a number of different things. This year we've just tried to do a event, so a expo. We've gone in, done a chat, done a stand, um, come away with a load of contacts that we've got AI automatically following up. And if that does work, then it really pushes our growth. I'd say the majority of people kind of win work, or the majority of accountants win work off referrals, and that's fine. But I'd say it's almost, we want to go quicker than that. We want to see what we can push. So, as I say, these expos or trying to just get out there more, trying to talk to more people, um, because 25% is great, but it'd be great if we could speed it up.
hmm Okay. And what would you say has been the biggest bottleneck to speeding it up as much as what you would like?
Um, the biggest bottleneck is probably just finding clients, like actually finding clients that are in the right place, in the right headspace. At the moment, there's a lot of business that cash flow is struggling and things like that. And it's also trying to explain to businesses like how they can re repurpose some people, because if you've got somebody just doing data entry, you don't need them to be doing that anymore. Like we can use software to do it all, and let's strip that back. We've got some people that are doing payments, for example, and again, you can have a payment platform that costs 20 quid a month, 40 quid a month that can take the payments from the software and straight to the bank using open banking and things. So there's so many efficiencies out there. It's just making sure people value them and understand them, because finance is like the one that nobody wants to change. Everyone comes in and changes software, changes different departments, but I feel finance is normally the one that's sat and very regimented, and it's stuck in their ways because that's how they've done it for 20 years, and they don't like to change too much.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, I remember, yeah, when I used to work in finances as well, it was always when you didn't know what to do, you just looked, what did you do last month? And that was, yeah, basically exactly like what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah, it's painful because there's so many efficiencies. There's so much tech out there that is coming
Mhm.
in that can make such a difference.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. So then you guys help these like small businesses to implement this tech as well that they might not be aware of.
Yeah, absolutely. So we kind of build like an app stack. We tend to start with three different softwares, and then we kind of build out from there.
Okay. And what are those kind of free and what are their functions that they do for them?
So we kind of build Xero in the middle. So Xero is our accounting solution. Everything is built out of that, and we connect everything into that. The second one we tend to go for is like HubDoc or Dext or an equivalent that does all the data entry. So it's something that takes the documents and puts them all into Xero without someone manually typing it all out.
Hmm.
Then we look at Cresco for sales invoices, so making sure that there's a pay now button that is 2 clicks of a button for every customer that enables them to pay you quicker. Now, if you're dealing with the big retailers or something, that doesn't quite work. But for dealing with B2C or even small B2B, having that pay now button just makes it so much easier for your customers to pay you, which means that cash flow moves quicker. And if you get
Hmm.
paid quicker, you've got that money in your bank to pay or to grow and to keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. Yeah, that sounds, yeah, that I imagine definitely would they, what did I say? Cash flow is king.
Exactly. Like it's great if you've got the profit. It's great if you've got the. I say that's probably one of the biggest conversations we have is the amount of companies that say to us, "We've got all this profit, but I've got nothing in the bank. Where's my money?" And then you
Hmm.
look down their debtors list and they've got 10, 20, 30 grand sat in overdue, and that's their profit. It's literally just sat there in somebody else's bank account because they've not paid you yet. So that's one of the biggest things that we need to speed up.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And then how do you find implement these solutions to your clients? Like I've spoken to a couple accountants and just getting them set up usually takes a couple of hours. So how do you then find implementing these solutions and are they open to them or are they more set in a way? So how do you kind of like how do you find that process?
Yeah, so I mean, we just class that as normal. Like it's the first thing we do. We take on a new client, we look at what they've got, we build out some suggestions, and then we implement these softwares. A lot of them absolutely do take hours, but if you do them right, it it knocks hours off every week. So
Yeah.
spending a couple of days at the beginning getting a client set up. And I would say actually we don't make any money on our clients in the first couple of months at least. Like it's all loss making. Once they're up and running and all these streamlines are working, at that point it then kind of pays back the time that we spent at the beginning.
Yeah. Okay. So it takes a little bit of time to do the full setup and to integrate all these automations into these like new clients.
Absolutely. It probably takes 1 to 2 days, depending on
Yeah.
the size of the client, and it can be up to a week.
Wow. Okay. And that's interesting. So what would you say takes the most amount of time with doing these setups with these clients?
If they're on another accounting software, so like not on Xero, and
Hmm.
migrating 2 years to Xero, but I'd say these softwares themselves probably don't take that much. It's the training for somebody who has used this legacy platform for 20, 30 years. They've come across and they're stuck in their ways. They knew their software inside out. They knew how to do it, and they were working extremely efficiently for what they had. But in reality, like they didn't even need to be working quicker. They just needed a new software to do all that for them. So it's trying to teach them which way to go, where to look, how to do it, and it's changing the mindset of them people.
Hmm.
That's the biggest time frame. Like the training is very time heavy.
Right. Okay. So and then by training, that's like how to use the new system, what to do, all that type of stuff.
Yeah, because again, they did it in their system, their way, and it's completely different now. So they're like, where do I go in to type in the bill? You don't. You
Hmm.
just have it automatically going to this email address, which pulls
Yeah.
it all through, which puts it onto this system.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah. I know the pain because I just switched to a Mac laptop, and that was also, I imagine that's similar for business owners. It's just like all the keyboard shortcuts, everything I'm still figuring out. So I imagine it's something similar to that.
I mean, the hardest thing for Mac is even just closing a Windows on the wrong side.
It's yeah, I've gotten used to that now, and I've gotten a couple of keyboard shortcuts, but it's still yeah, I kind of miss my windows, especially in Excel, all the shortcuts. But yeah, I imagine something like that for these business owners, and also I imagine some of them aren't that tech savvy. So trying to teach this new thing that they've been doing for 20 years, maybe.
Exactly that. Like if it's a business owner, then they're good at what they do. They're not focused on finance. Finance is
Hmm.
just there because it has to be.
Yeah.
And that's probably one of the key things is like they don't do the finances because they know what they're doing or they enjoy it or anything like that.
Hmm.
It's just people keep telling them they need to know the numbers, so they need to try and find it. And actually just find a specialist, find someone who's good at that bit and let them take that bit on and you focus on the bit that you're good at, which is why you're in the business, which is why you're you're thriving in the first place.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's the unsexy part of running a business, essentially.
But it's the language of business, which everyone says, is the
Hmm.
it's without it, it doesn't function. It's almost like
Hmm.
the kind of it gets pushed aside a lot, but it's so pivotal in everything. If you know what's going on, you know when the money's coming in, you can
Hmm.
actually make decisions on that and you can spend it and then be in such a stronger position.
Yeah, 100%, definitely. And so changing gears a little bit because I want to know more about this WhatsApp AI bot that you were saying earlier in the call. I was like, even from our first conversation, it's like, what WhatsApp? I've heard of it. I haven't heard it in practice. So tell me like a little bit more in terms of this AI bot. How does it work? How did you set it up? And then also, how is it going?
Yeah, so basically we use a platform called GoHighLevel, which is when I first logged in, I looked at it and thought, oh my God, this is overwhelming. There's way too much for me to do here. But
Mm-hmm.
having sat on it, learnt a bit about it, got stuck in, it's an incredible platform. There is so much you can do. And one of them is building AI bots. So what I did is I fed the platform our website, and turns out there's 90 pages on our website. I thought there was only about 4 or 5, so that was quite interesting, me learning that in the first place. Then, so it's taken all of that information that we've got written down. It's then said, okay, I understand you, I understand your business. There's a few extra tips that I've given it, or extra inputs just to make sure it corrects certain things. But now that's currently a AI bot that's built into our website, so built into our platform, built into our website, so it's monitoring what we're doing. If we update our web pages, it learns from that as well. On the flip of that, the GoHighLevel allows you to contact and talk to people on WhatsApp. So what I've done is I've connected that all up, and we've now got a WhatsApp messenger that uses the AI bot in the background. So it's connected to our website. So if you go to it, click the button, you can start talking to this AI WhatsApp just to see what
Yeah.
it looks like. But
Oh, yeah.
it's been quite entertaining. We've had quite a few people try and break it, few people do all sorts to it. Basically, its main goal is to give you all the information you need and to try and book a meeting, a sales
Oh, yeah.
meeting, and get people to have a
Mhm.
chat with her. So it's just trying to open that conversation up with people and see how they're doing. The I mean, it's worked really well. I've been watching it like in the background, having conversations with people, and the responses, even when it's been so. For example, we went to the Festival of Entrepreneurs, which is like a expo. It was at the NEC in Birmingham. Somebody had a conversation with it and said like, "Oh, how did you find the show? I think it was a bit quiet when I was there." And the
Mhm.
bot actually said, "Yeah, I heard a few people say that it was really quiet, the show.
Mhm.
We're finding it all right at the moment. We're quite enjoying it, and but the bot wasn't there at all. So it's managed to just respond in a conversational manner
Yeah.
by itself and continue that conversation, but had no input at all, which I find
Mhm.
quite impressive. Obviously, you know that these AIs can hallucinate and things like that, so we just need to check that. But at the moment, Touchwood is going incredibly well, and I would
Mhm.
highly recommend it for anyone.
Yeah. Okay. So it's essentially like a chat GPT on your website that knows everything about your business.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, if you ask it for pricing, if you ask it for anything to do with us, it pulls it all in.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I've seen a few softwares that have that. It's called like a co-pilot. And then it also is if they have like questions and everything, and it's brilliant. It's even better than if I was talking to a human, and it's super quick and everything. So yeah, I've really enjoyed the ones I've used.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, I'd highly recommend it. It's not that expensive for what it is,
Hmm.
and it makes such a big difference.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So I know we're starting to run out of time here, so let's finish up on what's kind of next, what's in store for Utopia for the next few months of this year.
Next few months,
Yeah.
we are kind of at a point where we're trying to find more and more efficiencies, and we're kind of just trying to shave seconds off here and there in everything we're doing. So one of the big things that we're doing at the moment is my business partner. She's kind of heading up this project, but we're switching practice management softwares. So we're trying to make sure that everything is streamlined as efficiently as possible. Everything is integrated with each other. Like all of our systems always talk to each other, but at the moment there's some disjointed ones which we have to go in and
Mhm.
take the data from here and put it into this one.
Yeah.
And this migration, which is probably the biggest migration we've done, like a practice management, is like how everything is built together. We're migrating that, and it's quite a long task, which we'll see how that goes over the next few months. But if it does all go smoothly, then we should be on a new system which will enable even more efficiencies and even more automation.
Hmm. Yeah, nice. That's awesome. Yeah, it's I always say getting 1% better every single day, and then it adds up. It's kind of like compound interest a little bit.
Exactly that. You're 365% better at the end of the year.
Exactly. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, yeah, sounds like you guys got a lot going on. It's been great having you on the show. Where can people find to learn a little bit more about what you guys are doing?
I guess the best place for me would be LinkedIn. Like, message me on LinkedIn. I'm on That's the only social media I'm on regularly.
Okay, awesome. Cool. I'll include a link to the show notes. It's been great having you on the show. You guys have been listening to the Business Growth Podcast. Until next time, keep growing.